Start streaming. What is going on, everyone? My apologies for the inconvenience and the technical issues that has just occurred. There was an update with OBS, so that needed to happen before we can go live. So I guess you can't say no to software. But we were just getting our introductions in. Dio Zale said he was playing some New World. I was playing some Nexus, Scarlet Nexus, and the Don CJG. What were you doing?
I was playing Hot Trash.
Okay. All right.
No.
He went there. Yo, it's like he went on a date, and that was like the worst date he's ever been on his entire life. That's what that sounds like to me.
Dude.
Like, okay, let's get this over with. What hot trash have you been playing, sir?
I'll start with the quicker one because I have less to say about this one. But I was like, I was listening to my weekly roundup podcast, as I do, and I heard of a game, an easy 1,000 gamer score game, and you know me, I can't turn that down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, cool, let me jump on eSoccer 2022.
Okay.
Right, it's Pro Evolution Soccer's rebrand from Konami.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the memes online about this game.
Mm-hmm.
You know when there's memes after 2 days of launching, it's good.
I know it's got to be good when you're laughing in between sentences.
I don't know if you've seen the memes, Alex, but it is just, oh my. Character models are not looking. You know, everyone's taking everyone's mocking Craig.
Okay.
From Halo
really?
last year.
Really?
Yo, it's bad, bro.
Really?
It's bad.
Wow.
Ronaldo's face did not look like Ronaldo at all.
What? So they put Craig's face on a human being?
Dude, they might as well have. It would have looked better.
Oh no. Say it's not so.
So I was like, I'll play this. Took like 2-3 hours to get 100%. It was just like I don't play a lot of sports games as it is, right? Let alone soccer games, or I guess the football for the European people out here. But it was not good. Like the controls just felt awful. The game just felt rough. It looked rough. It was just horrible.
No
And
way.
considering that's their rebranding effort for that franchise, it's not gone down well. if that's your rebrand soft launch, that is might want to rebrand again. I'll be honest with you, it's not going down well.
Wow, you make it sound like there's no hope.
Dude, look, no one cared about PES anyway.
What?
Right, especially
What?
not in Europe. Like FIFA is huge in UK. And
I would assume FIFA is so huge that PES would be like the second to best, right?
Yeah, it probably is, but no one cares about it.
Uh.
It's second to best by like 2 bajillion.
Oh wow.
It's like me versus Usain Bolt, bro. It's not even a competition.
Bro, sounds like you'd rather play football than PES, the American football
Dude,
than PES.
I went down and I downloaded FIFA 22 through EA Play, the early access, because it's on there, just to compare it.
Yeah.
It's so much better.
Don't.
It's so much better.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's so much better, dude. You compare FIFA 22 to eSoccer 22. Oh man,
Oh no.
it's just not. It's not good.
So EA gets a checkpoint from Dawn today.
Yep. Hey, look, EA,
Yeah.
doing a good job. That's the only time I ever compliment FIFA.
You gotta do bad to get that compliment.
You do.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
God.
10 minutes into the show. Oof. And it's not
Yo, we
over.
ain't done yet. We ain't done yet.
Keep it rolling.
So speaking of EA,
Uh-huh.
they put out a little sign called the Battlefield 2042 beta.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I downloaded it the day it came out. Was it like Thursday or whatever? I was like, cool, let me download this. Downloaded it to like 25 minutes.
Mhm.
Right. I was like, click A to start. Clicked A.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Okay. Yeah. I can agree with this. I can I approve this message. Okay.
Right. I
Is-
clicked A, it didn't work. I was like, it must be a bug
Yes.
or something, isn't it? So I was like, cool, uninstall it.
No. You have one or two
Oh.
controllers.
I have 4 controllers.
Okay.
Like, I learned what the issue is the next day. So
yeah,
I reinstalled it, played the
yeah,
next day.
yeah.
I was using my Series X controller
Uh-huh.
instead of my Elite because I was watching Netflix. You know, I don't want to burn down my Elite on Netflix, and it worked.
Uh-huh.
Found out Elite controllers don't work on the beta. Don't know what kind of ridiculous
No,
bug that is.
that's subjective because I have 4 controllers, two Xbox One controllers and 2 next gen, like this gen controllers with the share button on them. So when I played Battlefield, I ran into the same issues, and I'm like, okay, my Xbox middle button works because I can see people online.
Yes.
Right. That's good. You know, the music's playing, like everything's good, but nothing's interactive.
Your inputs don't.
So I was like, okay, the other controller's down on the other side of the bed. I reached for that, turned that on, and I could start pressing buttons. I can start moving forward. So I think I don't think the Elite is an issue. I think it's more issues with the beta and how it looks at, you know, controllers. Like there's some issue configuration going on.
I don't know what's going on there, but
that was a fail. That was an early fail, right?
That's a ridiculous bug.
Yeah, that was
like I've seen a lot of bugs in my time over the years, but that one is just ridiculous.
No, okay. I'm coming from a guy who I don't play Battlefield games. Like if this Battlefield, okay, I'll say this Battlefield felt better to me as a person playing video games than the Battlefield of old because I never really could understand how to play it because I kept dying all the time. And I never really, you know, I roll with a team, but I never know who my team was. You know, I'm like that, you know, in Call of Duty, yo, we rocking, you know, I know it's a smaller map. So I know where my team going, you know, and we follow each other. We do what we got to do. Halo, I get it. Red versus blue, easy, you know?
Yeah.
So, but Battlefield was so big as a map and traversal. I still trying to figure out how you get the jets, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, helicopters are like, yo, how you do that? And I'm not telling you. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I don't know what, like, and I said this in the Discord earlier. I said, look, the foundations of what they got, it's pretty solid, right? It's all right. There's some good ideas there. But the execution of what they've done is just crazy. They've got like a crazy person decided, hey, look, I'm going to make this game. Like, it's insanity. It's insanity, man. Like, just to keep going with the controller thing, right? I don't know who designed this control scheme, this UI, but they were a maniac to begin with.
Now,
I gotta click up on the D-pad to throw a grenade.
Before you continue on your spiel here, sir, how, like, you've played Battlefield games before?
Yes.
Opposed from me, I remember you. I think I was there for a short time, and then Chainsaw and Al was rocking, and it was Hardline. But even before Hardline, there was a Battlefield where the crew would jump in and play. Yeah. That's the last time I remember Battlefield. The one afterwards, it was so. I mean, I guess it was trash. Nobody really talks about it until this day. But
they did 4, which was alright, and then obviously did 1 and 5, and they just went downhill from 1.
Okay. But so you have experience playing Battlefield. Okay. So that people would know when they listening to you, they're like, okay, this guy is not just talking out the side of his mouth. He actually enjoys Battlefield. It's just that this specific beta was questionable. Oh yeah,
big questionable vibes on this one. You know, like, you know, I just don't know what's happened, man. They changed a lot of legacy features, which is fine, right? I don't mind them changing things to innovate, but if it's just made the game worse,
well,
just don't.
From a person that has never really enjoyed in the previous Battlefield, so when I say enjoyed, I mean I played 2 matches and that was it on beta. Like,
oh wow,
I didn't enjoy it. That's my, you know what I'm saying? So when I jump into the beta, I felt like I was playing like Warzone. That's what it felt like to me. It really felt like Warzone with a EA feel to it. You know what I mean? So I kind of gravitated to it, but I didn't, you know, did I throw a grenade? No, because I didn't know how to do that. You know, I thought it would be, you know, like something that would be not cross platform, but cross genre, right? If Halo does it, if Call of Duty does it, Battlefield has to have it, right?
Those skills would translate, yeah.
Right. You know, like your hand should be able to know where the grenade is without having to think and go to the UI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That type of mindset. Yeah, exactly. But when I did it, I think I did something else. Alerted some people around me who I was, you know, sneaking around the mountain down. And then I had to, like, you know, fight for my life type of vibe. So
click on your bumpers or something.
Yeah, I click on the bumpers, press in on the right stick, left stick, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what's going on.
Yo, I know how to parachute though.
I bet you figured that one out pretty quick. Oh man, yeah, it's strange, man, and you know, I think there's some cool ideas in there, right? Like, I like this. I think they call it the plus system, where you can change your attachments on the fly.
Yeah.
Right. Cool idea. I like that. It was in Crisis, and now I think that made Crisis a really good game. I loved it.
Okay.
Right. But what they've just made some weird choices in there. Like half the time it doesn't work when you respawn; it all just resets.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. That's incredibly fun when I've got a great attachment loadout and I have to keep doing it every time I respawn. That's fun. You've got like 3 different magazines in your gun, and all your ammo is split across them. So, you know, you've got your high power long range rounds, you got your standard rounds, you got your close range rounds, and so yeah, if you run out of ammo in your standard, you got to use the other ones now.
You know what was weird? I switched over to like I don't know if it's a scout or a sniper or whatever, the class. And I looked at my weapon and it looked like an AR. It did not look like a sniper weapon.
Yeah.
But boy, when I looked through the scope, bro, it's like, yo, it got distance. Wait, and I look again, it's like an AR. It's like, yo, this is weird. Well, when I shoot it, you know, you can hit, you know, I was like, yo, okay, this game has some work. It's still good. It looks beautiful. Environmentally wise, it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
but when you get into the game and you start feeling for the game, and you see Don CJG spinning around in circles trying to figure out, you know, the difference between a rocket launcher and a pistol. Yeah.
Literally, man. Like, yeah, I agree. Like, the game visually looks great, right? You know, when you start these matches and it's, you know, it's daylight, it's sunny, and it's great. Then it goes to this like tornadoes storm and there's a rocket flying through the air and you know spaceships flying off. It's crazy.
I heard the rain looks beautiful too when it rains.
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
It's
you
crazy.
might as well not shoot anybody and just wait for the environment to change.
Yeah, like when the environment's changing, you know, I'm really impressed by it. But core gameplay, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on there, man. It just doesn't feel right. And like you said, you know, you changed to the you know, that sniper class or whatever, but they got rid of classes and it's all specialists. So anyone can have any weapon. You could be a self-healing sniper with an ammo pack if you wanted to.
Oh wow!
And I can't wait for that to ruin everybody's mood.
Wow.
That's gonna be the most irritating thing in the world.
Wow. Well, if I had the choice, I would be that guy on the hill, laying down on my back, gazing into the sun with a straw in my mouth, just having explosions and stuff going around me, and seeing the seasons change. You know what I'm saying? And saying this is the life. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be me. You know. Is that it? Is that all you got, man? To get off your chest? Get off your chest for the week?
Well, you know what? You know, one of the devs came out and said the build's a few months old, right? How old that is, we don't know. Is it 1 month, 2 months, 5? Who knows, right? So I'm a bit worried for the game. I can't lie to you. We only got one map, like one mode.
Actually, no. I think there's 3 to 5 maps, I believe.
I've only ever played one.
No, there's the one with a city, and then they have the crane that they showed in the trailer.
Never played any of them.
No, they didn't. You didn't play it. You didn't play it, but they did show it. So
it might be the.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be a snow map too. So
never seen any.
Yeah, I got you.
If we're in the beta,
No,
I've
it's
not
not,
seen any
I
gameplay.
don't think it's in debate.
Well,
you know,
yeah, that's what I mean,
yeah, I got you.
right? So we're only playing on one of these maps, and it's a bit, and not like the game
Yeah.
doesn't. The game looks gorgeous, right? But I gotta, I got a
Mm,
question.
yeah. What's the question?
I got a question, there, man. Like, I don't, if this game got delayed till November, it got delayed 1 month.
What?
Personally, I feel like it should be delayed another few.
What you talking about until next year?
I'm talking to like March,
Okay.
because I look at it right. We're Call of Duty coming out November 5th,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not exactly particularly impressed by Call of Duty Vanguard.
The
I played
Vanguard
beta.
game?
No.
I thought the beta was trash.
Ooh,
Right, I like Call of Duty. Right, I played the past few.
bro.
Yeah, I didn't play Cold War.
I know how you are in Call of Duty. I don't. Yeah. Say no more.
But Vanguard's weak, right? I don't think it's a good Call of Duty game.
Mm.
I think the only good competitor in the FPS genre now is Halo, and that's coming out December 8th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if Battlefield pushed back till March, bring out a quality game, I think they could do pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I really
Okay.
think so, man.
Got you. Yo, Dio. So you've been playing some New World. Anything before that? Before we actually start talking about New World?
Just little things like I don't know if you guys saw that they announced in Smash Brothers Sora
Yeah.
is gonna be the last character
Yeah.
they're gonna add.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
So a lot of people asking who the heck's Sora.
Oh snap!
No.
That's not good.
And I was like, what? Even I know Sora.
Okay, that made me feel better.
Even I know Sora, and I'm the last person you should know.
Alright.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool that they're adding him. I don't know if you guys had jumped into Marvel Avengers since it's been on Game Pass yet.
Yes.
Nope.
Did.
Okay.
But
Were you having fun with it?
we're gonna have a talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
I don't know if you have something specific in there, but I think you do.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. All right.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in a minute, cause I got
Okay.
some notes on that one.
Okay, we could talk a bit about New World then.
All right, no problem. Let's go.
So, in my opinion, it's definitely a quality game, but there are some flaws.
Mm.
For PvE is definitely like just tacked onto the game. I mean, it even makes sense when you think about it, because from the beginning, this was always meant to be a hardcore PvP game,
Okay.
and questing in this game is very bland. I mean, in most MMOs they're bland, but in this game in particular, it's very bland. Go here, kill X amount of animals or X amount of enemies, and come back. Go here, gather X amount of items, and come back. And that's literally it. I don't think I've. Oh, and there's like one more kind of quest I've seen where you like kill like a boss enemy in an area, and that's it that I've played so far.
Mm.
Like there's literally 3 types of quests that you do, and you'll keep doing these, which for some players they don't mind, right? I mean, if you play MMOs, you're gonna be grinding, especially if you
Mhm.
like Korean MMOs.
Mm-hmm.
But the real big saving grace for this game so far for me is the crafting. The crafting is done very well.
Okay.
It always feels like you're progressing. It always feels like it means something. Whenever you're gathering enough so you can gather like the next item and the better stuff. So you can make more things, so you can upgrade the towns, because guilds,
Yeah.
or as they call in this game, companies,
Right.
can actually control territories of the map.
Mhm.
And with that comes also responsibility of them like charging how much the the people who use their town will get taxed for
Mhm.
crafting and selling in their town, which is a pretty cool mechanic. And this could change. The guild, you just can't stay there and that's it. I mean, it'll get contested after a certain amount of time with PvP.
Mm.
So there's incentive to like be in a good guild, or at least help out your faction in PvP. So this is a game that will definitely compete with games like Black Desert Online and Elder Scrolls Online.
Mm-hmm.
I think the hardcore PvP players from Elder Scrolls will probably gravitate towards this game, but when it comes to actual like PvE, like dungeons and raiding or trials or whatever you want to call it, this is just not going to really hold anyone's attention. At least not now. If they develop that, maybe in a few more months or years, this will be a contender. But for now, unless you're a big crafter or a big PvP player, you're not going to find any PvE enjoyment so much out of this, or definitely no story enjoyment, because the story, this is probably the blandest I've ever
wow.
played in an MMO.
Oh wow.
Wow. Wow.
Which is not a bad thing necessarily either, right? Like I said, like if you don't care about story, then it doesn't matter, because I'm still playing it. I'm actually enjoying it,
Mhm.
because I'm enjoying the combat of it, which
That-
people
that-
keep comparing to Dark Souls, which
Have
I
you-
kind of see what they're comparing to, but it's not really Dark Souls.
Have you killed anyone yet?
No, I haven't turned on PvP yet. I'm still just questing around. What I would like to do is do one of these like little war things first
Mhm.
before I start turning it on,
Okay.
just to get like a feel of like structured PvP first, and then with the whole ganking stuff. But
Okay.
for now, I haven't really done it because I've seen nothing but like high level players, and I don't want to get one
low
shot.
areas, in low level areas, just like
In
scoping
low level
people out?
areas.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh, that's bad.
Because I don't necessarily think people are doing it to be assholes. I mean, maybe they are, but I think for the most part, this game really wants you to gather and craft things from all over the map. So
Mhm.
there's definitely items that are still worth gathering in low level areas, because the low level characters can't really gather them. It's too high level for them.
Mm.
So they're like more rare.
Mhm.
I would say probably the I didn't play in the day one when they had like the server issue, so I haven't had that problem. But one issue I've had is that there will be like some kind of interface problem where if I'm swinging at an enemy, it won't connect, and even sometimes when the enemy's trying to swing at me, it won't connect. So
Oh wow.
I know it's not an internet issue. It seems to be something with the game itself, because even other players in the game are talking about it and making fun of it in the chat. So
So
it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens once in a while.
Do you, as far as longevity, right? I mean, things can change with the drop of a hat. We are dealing with Amazon, right?
Yep.
So, what do you think of the longevity so far? I mean, you haven't gone into endgame yet, but based on your observation so far, do you think how you feel about the game? Like, what comes out to you as far as negative, positive, longevity? Where you see yourself with New World?
Overall, I am actually really enjoying the game, but I can see myself getting very bored and tired of the game once I get to end game when it comes to PvE.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done any dungeons. I know there are dungeons, but I mean, I also know they're not going to be as complex or difficult as like dungeons in like Final Fantasy or like World of Warcraft, or even ESO for that matter.
Because you could one man those, right?
In New World, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think I think they are supposed to be for a group,
Okay.
but I don't think that there's been anything announced for actual like raids yet. I think it's all just been just dungeons at the moment.
Gotcha. Do you see your certain games, they start off, pay to play and then it goes free to play. Do you see something like that happening, or it's just too early?
I wouldn't imagine it going free to play, only because of the fact that it is buy to play, just like ESO,
Mm-hmm.
where you're just buying the base game and you're not paying a sub fee.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't foresee like free to play. What I could see happening is them adding a optional subscription, just like ESO did.
Okay.
So people will get like probably like bonuses to like gathering and crafting and all kinds of stuff like that. I wouldn't be very happy about that, but I could see them doing it because it's kind of the norm when it comes to buy to play games or free to play games.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of treated like a you buy the game from a store, CD, you put it in your computer, it installs, and you play, and then for longevity you start seeing updates that you would pay for, or a subscription to keep playing, or something of that nature.
Yeah, I think overall, as long as they don't get too aggressive with the in-game store,
Mm-hmm.
because there is one that exists in the game at the moment, and it's just cosmetic items,
Mm-hmm.
then they're gonna do very well. Because there's a lot of PvP players who I think will gravitate towards this game
Mm-hmm.
because there's not really anything on the market that's really holding PvP players' interest. Like Elder Scrolls, I think was kind of that game in the beginning, and Black Desert Online also.
Mm-hmm.
But because Black Desert Online became pretty not free to play, pay to win,
Mm-hmm.
it lost a lot of people's interest in that. And because of ESO's, server issues when it comes to Cyrodiil in particular,
Right.
it's not gonna like keep a lot of PvP players' interest because the hardcore PvP players are gonna like small world PvP, but when it comes to big world PvP, like that's one of the big advantages ESO had in the beginning with Cyrodiil, and they've let that fallen off pretty hard. And this game, from my understanding, has like really huge siege combat, which I'm really looking forward to.
Gotcha.
I really miss that about ESO. So if they can hit that for me, I could see myself really sticking to the game long term.
Now you've purchased ESO for PC. You've already got it on Xbox, but you've made a purchase on PC, right? Comparing ESO and New World as far as gameplay, control, keyboard and mouse, how would you rate that? Because I mean, New World doesn't really give you the opportunity to well, I would say this: they give you key bindings, right, for you to do it by yourself, but it's not like a plug and play for your controller, your gamepad, right? So most likely people are just gonna go in and play it with their keyboard and mouse on the game, So if someone's coming from ESO to New World, would they feel comfortable? What's your take?
So the game itself doesn't allow you any opportunity to customize your controller or gamepad in New World, but if you buy it through Steam, there is a Steam mechanic where you can like adjust the controllers for it.
Mm-hmm.
But because this is not native to the game, it doesn't play very well. There are some profiles out there that you can use, and I tried it. It made it bearable, but for the most part, it doesn't work very well. Like you'll have some issues where like the controller scheme will kind of reset, and you got to kind of like redo it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it'll just mid combat. Usually when I return a bunch of quests at one time, it kind of like bugs it out. I've noticed. I kind of gave up on that, and I just started playing with the mouse and keyboard, and it actually doesn't play too bad on mouse and keyboard. But I could see this easily being on a controller with a good control scheme.
I know.
ESO.
I'm surprised you didn't use Yorishi.
My what?
Yorishi, right? Not Yorishi. What is it called? The razor joint that is like a what you try to use for Final Fantasy 14. That one-handed multi
yeah.
key.
So this game doesn't have a lot of buttons, so I don't really need a gamepad for that. Like that's really useful for like Final Fantasy and like WoW because there's a lot of keybinds. This game doesn't have a lot of keybinds.
Gotcha.
You could like literally map all your buttons on your gaming mouse pretty easily.
Wow. Okay.
I would just prefer a controller because it would feel more, native to like other adventure games I'm used to playing, like Dark Souls and Devil May Cry or whatever. But it just doesn't have that. I would imagine in the next few months I would like to think that they would make it native, just like how ESO did. Because when the game first launched on ESO on the PC, it was out a whole year before console, and controller support didn't come natively to ESO on the PC until maybe 6 months or a year after ESO came out on console. So about like a year and a half or 2 years of the lifespan on PC, ESO also didn't have controller support.
Gotcha.
So we'll see how it goes. I mean, it shouldn't be a hard thing for them to do, honestly. I could think of a control scheme that would work very well, but the fact that, like I said, it kind of like desyncs, it just doesn't really seem like it would be worth the effort. And it plays well on the keyboard and mouse. Honestly, it's not my preference.
Gotcha. Yo, Don CJG.
Hello.
Yo, what's going on over there, man?
What's going on over there?
I heard your friends got like arrested for stealing 180K worth of cars with a Game Boy.
What?
Is this a thing? It's news to me.
All right. So what's going on? This is gaming without gaming news, right? In the UK, I think it's two guys. They've modded a Game Boy to steal. To steal Mitsubishi Outlanders, 5 of them.
What?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Yes. So the way how they modded it was they turned the Game Boy into some kind of frequency type of thing. So when that frequency is being communicated between you and the car opens up, the car turns on.
Yeah, okay. I know. I've heard of like similar things where people were able to do that with frequencies and repeat the signal close to your house.
Is that keyless?
Like find your car key.
Yeah, the keyless, the key fob, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that makes a lot more sense. I was like, these guys are hacking into like servers with a Game Boy. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So that's one of the out there news today. Another one is if you haven't heard, I think Dio may have heard this more than you, Don, but Shenmue is having an animated series by Crunchyroll and Adult Swim.
Yeah.
The news was announced during Comic-Con, and the panelists were director Chikara Sakurai, who worked on One Punch Man. Producer is Yukio Zono, right? For Lupin 3. And then Joseph Chow for Blade Runner. So I'm assuming those guys who are the panelists are actually working in the game, right? I mean, not game, the actual animated series. I was gonna show a video about it, but I ran into technical difficulties, so I'm unable to show. But there is a trailer out there. Looks okay. I want to see more. It's coming out next year, to everyone. Again on Crunchyroll and Adult Swim. I would assume on both platforms. Dio, you got any news on that other than what I said?
No, I don't have any news on that besides what you said. I mean, I have opinions, but that's about it.
Go ahead, let's hear those opinions.
I think the people that have in charge of it, it's gonna turn out pretty well. I know some people will probably find Shenmue to be a boring, subject to have as an anime or whatever, but I think they make animes out of like pretty much anything, right? I mean, you look at things like Slam Dunk that's based on like basketball, and Initial D, which was like the delivery guy racing at night, like
I'm saying.
So they can make an anime on anything, and I think if they do it the right way, this could hopefully bring funding to make a better Shenmue 2, because I haven't really heard great things about it. I still haven't played it, and I would like to play it. I mean, Shenmue 3 or whatever.
Yeah, Shenmue 3, yeah.
Yeah. I would like to play it, but after everything I've heard, it just doesn't sound like it hit all the right buttons for it,
I'm still waiting for it to come to Game Pass.
Yeah, that would be nice.
If it would.
That would definitely be nice.
But yeah, they're trying to move away from and they mention, if I can say, clunkiness or cheesiness of the game, how the game was, and bring in more of how what the youth today would see anime. So what they mean by that was like the remedial things you would do in a game, hitting a dummy 100 times to do like this or that, taking you away from the actual main story so you can power level, things of that nature. It's not going to really be in a movie, of course, or the animated series. And the reason why I brought that up is because the guy who's actually going to be creating this game is a person who is a fan of this game, but he's never played it. he never got the chance to play it. So to direct this animated series is almost like, how can I put it? It's like me being a fan of Star Wars, right? Because everybody else is talking about how great it is, but I've never watched it. And now I have to, now I gotta go in and then I gotta pull in some resources and play the game. And how people, like for instance, Final Fantasy, right? I think the director or lead producer, whoever, basically forced everybody to play WoW to gain the idea of where Final Fantasy was gonna go for 14. Yeah. So I would assume it would be that mindset where you go into research mode on Shenmue and decide how you're gonna pick and choose what's gonna be in the animated series. So far, it looks pretty good trailer-wise, but trailers can be deceiving a little bit. So I'm definitely looking forward to next year and seeing some lengthy trailers. Get me in the mood to be like, I'm ready. Like some Donnie Yen moves. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm ready. So. So outside of that, I know Dio was talking about Marvel. Dio.
Yes.
What's going on with Marvel these days?
Well, with Marvel Avengers going on Game Pass, I bought it when it first came out, and I think we've talked about it on plenty of episodes where I'm just disappointed on the direction they go with almost every other month. And with it going to Game Pass, I was looking forward to playing it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna probably re-download it, give it a chance, because now there's actually people to play with. Because it is doing well on Game Pass. I think it's like number 10 or something like that on the chart.
It boosts. Sales got real high when it came on Game Pass. Yeah, go ahead.
And I was ready to do it, and so I saw this story about how like these guys just couldn't help themselves, like.
I think I know what.
Yeah. Here we go. Because I felt the same way.
They deliberately promised that they were never gonna sell anything else pay to win, specifically like experience boost. Yeah. And the first thing they do once they see some success is put experience boost in the game.
Yeah.
And it's just so disappointing. Disappointing.
So the studio lead, Scott Amos, said, in terms of how we monetize, we'll have cosmetics, no gameplay paywalls, right?
Yep.
And then it's also said that we've committed that content purchasable with real money in Marvel Avengers will be aesthetics. Man, I'm tight-tongue here. Aesthetics. It'll be costumes, additions, which will ensure we can keep the game fresh for years to come. Now, here's where the people start talking, right? This is where Dio's coming from. eChalo7 from the Reddit said, we saw it 7 months ago when they announced XP nerfs.
Yep.
Basically, they nerfed the XP, and then they're like, oh yeah, here's the paywall. It's coming. The pay to win is coming anytime soon. And then someone says that they installed it today. Didn't think I'll worry about coming back for Spider-Man either. Can't be bothered to support a company with zero integrity. Will not purchase another Crystal Dynamics game again. That was cold. Cold. So, I know we're talking about Marvel, and it is what it is. But we also had a discussion last week and week before. Xbox has decided to allow Crystal Dynamics to work with the initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Would this move on this platform, on this other game, give Xbox a kind of key indicator of how they want to determine whether or not they should be continuing to work with Crystal Dynamics in the same format? Because people are thinking we have IO Interactive, we have Crystal Dynamics, and one other studio, and Microsoft. And the idea is that Microsoft will acquire one or all of those studios. Is this a move to deter Microsoft away from acquisition?
maybe.
If
Um,
if acquisition was on the table, yeah, that's my initial question.
yeah. I do wonder, like, is this a Crystal Dynamic choice or is it Square Enix kind of influence? Like,
Exactly.
I think
get
it's
us
more.
money.
I think it's more Square Enix, but who are we blaming?
Yep.
Yeah, true. I think the blame's put on Square. Not Square, but Crystal, just because what Avengers is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they've kind of had their hands tied, but they were kind of forced into this idea of Avengers being a what's the looter? I don't say looter shooter, but looter game, right? Kind of RPG, whatever going on there. So I feel like with how poorly received the game was in the first place, they've had to kind of find a way to make that money back, especially since it's been so poor. With the game going on Game Pass, finally getting some positive attention, is this a time to try cash in a little bit?
But it wasn't even a month after, right? The game just came on Game Pass.
Yeah,
just came on Game Pass. Yeah.
You gotta. But I think plans change, right? I feel if Avengers had been a success in the first place, would they have? I feel like they probably would have stuck to their word a bit more. Like, hey, look, it's gonna be cosmetic only. But after seeing the story of a Marvel's Avengers game, it's not gone well.
No.
They're still on the back foot, and the Game Pass is probably their first step actually getting things back on track, or at least garnering some kind of positivity towards the title.
Outriders didn't even have that type of vibe, man. Outriders didn't even go that route.
Yeah.
They know they had to fix some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least it was enjoyable. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For sure, man. I can't say I'm surprised. I feel like Avengers has kind of been in this position where I don't want to say it's a commercial flop, but as a product, it just didn't go down well, and probably just trying to recoup at this point and then just try to start fresh.
Like, as a studio, I see them in limbo, right? They have the dissatisfaction. They're like the consumers are dissatisfied with the product, right? And then Square Enix as a corporation is dissatisfied with the product, right? So it's kind of like, okay, what do we do? And they're just there, like brainstorming. I could see them on whiteboards with all these different types of maps of how they want to revive the game, and it's like somebody says, "Hey, Game Pass." And then they wipe the whole board clean and then put XP boost.
Yeah, well, this is it, right? It's Game Pass, you're gonna just kind of get the opportunity to buy the game cheaper. It's gonna increase sales,
right,
more than it would have before. And I think it's an opportunity. I don't want to say clean slate completely because they've still got history there with the product, but
it's one of those situations that they could have done the thing that again, Square Enix, but this is more of the guys who made The Stranger of Paradise. Like in the beta, they asked for a survey, right? How can any issues, or how can we make the game better and stuff like this? Would have been perfect for stuff like that, because nobody's gonna go to the forums and be like, oh, well, they probably will, but I think it's been burnt so much, people expect them not to do anything. They're forums, Reddit, social media. They're just going to say how bad the game is without any context. They want those contexts. They want that feedback, Analytics and numbers can only give you so much. So, but yeah, Dio, like, what's your thoughts? What do you think about Xbox and Crystal Dynamics with this move? You think they'll be phased by it, or you just think like, hey, this is Square Enix, we still whatever.
I think Xbox is going to keep pushing forward, because I think this is a Square Enix move, and something that I could definitely, in my opinion, support that is when you look at Stranger of Paradise, for example, in the Xbox Game Store, they're already kind of going in that direction of pay to win, of trying to sell you stuff, because if you pre-order it, the deluxe edition, you get to play the game 2 or 3 days before everybody else. And that's not directly pay to win, but it's in the same realm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're playing like a game that's with other players. You know, some people are saying, "Oh, it's not pay to win if there's no PvP," but for some people, they don't need PvP to be competitive, right? They could be competitive just knowing that they're a higher
Right.
gear score than somebody else, or they do more damage than someone else.
Right.
So I think this is a Square Enix thing. I think that they're gonna have a lot of these things in Strangers of Paradise, and that was something that kind of turned me off when I was starting to realize that, because I really wasn't expecting a looter kind of game, live service from that game, but it seems like that's the direction they're going in. When I mean, I actually really enjoyed Strangers of Paradise. Combat felt pretty good. I liked the dark atmosphere of it, but seeing how much loot was dropped, and which I'm sure they're gonna tone down, but are those gonna be things that we're gonna have to be worried about this game now? Are they gonna sell loot, drop boost, experience boost?
Yeah. Yeah, since it's if it goes across all the games, then it's the corporation is the issue, because
Yeah.
if everybody has creative freedom, everybody's not going to think alike with creative freedom. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I can agree to that. I can agree to that.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we need to doubt Crystal Dynamics' talent. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's
look
not
at
it's not the talent. It's just the mindset, though.
Yeah, for sure. But I think the studio there is good, right? I think, looking at Square, I think they kind of had a history of mismanagement the last couple of games they've dropped. I think looking at the history of the Deus Ex quality, who were in those games, the last one was kind of garbage as well.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I kind of
that's
like that
true.
one.
Yeah, like, looking at Human Revolution, I think it's the last one on the 360. I go into some of the ones, in the Xbox One generation, it's
Mhm.
nowhere near as good. And not like the studio changed, but I think it's a Square issue.
Yeah. Well, speaking about issues, all right, we gotta, and money. Ubisoft, right, has released their 4th free-to-play game
Oh yeah.
Okay.
called
Which one is this one?
Ghost Recon Frontline.
What is that?
So, the first one that I heard about so far, I'm just purely talking console, right?
Yeah.
The Division Heartland. This is, of course, the Division, but they were trying to go free to play. The second one that we heard about was Riders Republic. And then the third one that came out was Tom Clancy's X Defiant. And then most recently, within this past week, was Ghost Recon Frontline. All free-to-play games. All announced at least within a year or maybe 2 years. Okay? People are not happy. People are definitely not happy, especially with the Frontlines, because Frontline is not a third-person game; it's a first-person game. Has a feeling a little bit closer to Call of Duty, but with a Ghost Recon feel
Name
to it.
attached to it, yeah.
Right. No, well, Ghost Recon name attached to it, but then there's certain mechanics that is Ghost Recon, but then when you jump in and you have that first person feel to it, you immediately feel Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go in like Call of Duty. Because there is no Apex running on walls, right? There is no I mean I don't play Battlefield, so I don't know how to compare it to Battlefield, but when you watch the trailer, you're seeing that feel for Call of Duty with the Ghost Recon type of mechanics and weapons and gear. They have drops like with robots, or like blockade and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like people are not happy with that because I guess gamers are expecting something else. Something more relative to what they're used to. And how you guys feel about Ubisoft going these directions with free to play?
Huh. It's an interesting one, right? 'Cause was it Ubisoft who said they were changing to a free play direction now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I can't say I'm necessarily surprised they're bringing out more free to play games, but I think I think we kind of look at this. I'm gonna rephrase the question, at least interpret it in my way.
Okay.
I feel like, is this Ubisoft kind of mismanaging IP and just kind of just using the names for the sake of it, right? Let's look at Splinter Cell, right?
Mhm.
He's been added to so many different games, but where's actual Sam Fisher with the spy, the agent?
Mhm.
Where
Yeah.
is he, right? We're looking at this new Ghost Recon game, and it's not fundamentally Ghost Recon. We're looking at Tom Clancy's X Defiant. It's
Mhm.
nothing to do with what Tom Clancy is. I just feel like they're leveraging these IPs and doing whatever they're doing with them. Fair enough, but I just feel like you're advertising it as this, but when your product is just not really what
It-
people know
It's
that to be.
the brand is not being truly represented. Pretty
Yeah,
much. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we know Ubisoft, what Ubisoft is doing, but they're not. We don't feel like it's really giving off the Tom Clancy feel, the brand name, because
Yeah.
everything this so far that they've done with Tom Clancy up until, can I say up until Wildlands actually, or can I say Division? I'm not even sure if
Division.
Division was truly
I don't
a
even
Tom
know
Clancy
where-
game. Because Tom Clancy wrote books, and
Yep.
those books were then being implemented into the game. So, do we have context with the actual manuscript to say this is truly Tom Clancy, or are you just throwing it onto a game and saying yeah? Because then we can say, okay, Tom Clancy may have died. His son has superseded him. Are we saying his son is now running the Tom Clancy brand the way he sees fit, without the story, the books, and stuff like that? You know what I mean? Like, these are the things that comes to
Yeah.
my mind when I think about it. What do you think about it, Dio?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely go with the Division as like kind of like the starting point of just using a name for name's sake. The Division really didn't reflect anything of his work, and I mean even the feel of the game, right? Like there's nothing in an MMO or a looter shooter that really kind of speaks like Tom Clancy to me. Like when I think of Tom Clancy, I'm thinking tactical, I'm thinking sneaky, I'm thinking all those different kind of games that we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's more realistic as well.
yes, and way more realism.
Yeah.
That's definitely like I would say like the backbone of it. Like if it doesn't have realism in it, it just kind of falls off, and it's kind of sad to see it going in this direction because I think there's definitely a huge market for those kind of games,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that they are not going that direction, especially with that whole game where they have all the Tom Clancy works kind of like doing that whole like battle, like fighting
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, that's the X Defiant, and that was
Yeah,
way out.
Defiant.
That was way out there. I didn't think that would be a Tom Clancy game, but they called it Tom Clancy X Defiant.
Right?
I was like,
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
look at the
Yeah.
outrage of that, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And I
crazy,
think-
man.
And that's
I
arena
think
style.
it's funny. Yeah, I think there's a place for that, but how they're going about it is wrong. Like I
Mhm.
think that you could definitely have like kind of like war games because I mean a lot of special ops from different countries do have war games, with each other, and it's something that builds camaraderie and teaches each unit, right? And I think you could do that with the Tom Clancy, heroes and stuff, which would be really cool. But with the cosmetics that they want to force down your throat in it, it doesn't fit it at all,
Mhm.
And that's the main reason they're making the game because they want to sell those cosmetics,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the sad nature of free to play games. How are you making the money off of these cosmetics, off of these boosts? And in the end of the day, they make more money off of those than they would with just cover charge for buy and play games.
Gotcha. One thing comes out pretty evident to me. It feels as though when Microsoft started pushing Game Pass and doing these certain things, right? Game Pass is tied to a subscription. With a subscription, you're able to play games, any game that's within the platform for free. You get discounts and so forth. Now, these other publishers don't have similar type of platforms, so they're now pushing hard on free to play, right? To encapsulate, the idea of subscription based models, and service, live services in their games. And I think when I think about what Ubisoft is doing, I think it's like a desperate rush to be the second person to be able to acquire, like as a publisher, to say, hey, we have thousands of people subscribe to our platform. Easily they could use Ubisoft Connect as a hub to do that. And honestly, I'm surprised they didn't pick up on that, because you can say subscribe to Ubisoft through the Ubisoft Connect and you have access to these games day one, right? That would have been a lot more understandable from a client, from a customer to a publisher perspective. But then when you start putting these free to play games the way how you are, nobody's really thinking about your hub. Nobody's really thinking about the publisher. They're thinking about the game and how intrusive the game is to their wallets and to what they know the company to be. So it's kind of sad, in my opinion.
I do think do Ubisoft even, they've got their subscription service, right? But do they even output enough products to even justify subscribing to that?
I'm still waiting for Beyond Good and Evil.
Right? You know what I mean? Like Beyond Good and Evil, Skull and Bones. You got your yearly Assassin's Creed now.
Exactly.
I don't know, man. I've said this for the last few times in the podcast. I feel like they've just lost their soul, their inspiration, man. I feel like they're not bringing out unique products anymore. It's all just a rehash of the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's funny because like they feel the need to actually write Ubisoft original on older games now.
Oh wow, yeah, I saw that. I think they're not the only one. There's some other people too.
Oh really?
Yeah, I can't remember who it is, but there's some other publishers too. Like I think I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think Sony was doing something close to that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Where they was trying to. Well, it doesn't really matter. But it's interesting that it sounds like it could have been like a TV show, but they just put it on a game, Ubisoft Originals. When I saw that, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Wow. But I mean, the only thing we can do is vote with our wallets at this time, man. And point things out.
That's why I haven't brought Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I got it. It's pretty cool. I got it. It's pretty cool. I just, I haven't
but it's
really.
Like, does it bring anything to the table I haven't played already in Assassin's Creed? Like, probably not.
Yeah, I think I'm a sucker for Assassin's Creed because the first generation of Assassin's Creed up until like Revelations I really enjoyed, and then Black Flag I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But I agree, man. I mean, the more downward spiral they get into their game developments and how they look at their gamers, I believe that people are not going to even look at Assassin's Creed the same anymore either.
No. I don't know how that was the best selling one in the history of the franchise. I guess it came with the next gen console launch. It's Vikings, but as a quality of a game, man. When I loved Origins, right? That was like the first game after
that was beautiful. Yeah,
I loved that game so much. And then playing Odyssey afterwards, I remember I played like a couple days of Odyssey and I was like, yeah, I'm done. And I picked up the game like 7 months later and finished it. It's just like from that point I knew it was like, oh, we're just back to doing what they were doing before, but now we just got a new engine. I'm just
wow.
It's sad, man, because I think you just have a lot of cool IP, but they're just not utilizing it in the right way.
Right. What do you think, Deal?
With the IP, you said?
I mean, I'll say this. Do you have anything else that you would like to to say. It don't have to be Ubisoft.
I mean, honestly, it's just gaming in general. I wouldn't even just put it on Ubisoft. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like a huge Ubisoft fanboy. I've never really been crazy about anything. Like the only thing I was like really hardcore about back in the 360 days was probably Ghost Recon
Mm-hmm.
from Ubisoft. I never got into the Assassin's Creed games. I did like their Phoenix Rising. That was pretty fun for what it was.
It's on Game
I
Pass
haven't
now.
played it since any of the updates.
Is Phoenix Rising? Is that on Game Pass? No, it's Phoenix Point. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. But you know, it's not just them. A lot of these companies are misusing their IPs, and it's just because they're going with what sells. I mean, it's the same thing that happens in Hollywood too, right? Like you see, like literally in the movie theater right now, like is another Halloween movie from Michael Myers, and he's like he has to be at least in his 70s by now, right? If he was like a real man.
Yeah. Right.
It's just a lack of creativity, and it's just kind of sad because I think there's a lot of people out there who could write quality content, but they'll never get the chance because these big companies are too afraid to come up with a new IP.
Right? Yeah, this is kind of what I was saying last week as well. Where we're kind of stuck in this remaster remake culture.
Yeah.
Nothing new ever comes out anymore. It's all the same.
Mm,
Yeah.
All the
That's true.
same.
that is true. All right, guys, fans, this has been the Digital Cypha Podcast with the Don CJG, Dio Zales, and myself, Ebonics, bringing you some gaming news every week on Saturday, 10 a.m., and that's 5 p.m.
3 p.m.
Dang, I keep going backwards. I don't know what it is. 3 p.m. British Standard Time.
That was so fast.
Yeah. So feel free to like and subscribe, send us any form of comments, help us, build this even more. So until then, you guys keep gaming and have a good weekend. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.